What's going on, everybody? I'm Scott Molchan, the Million Dollar Landscaper. I'm joined by our friend Ryan Rebar of Busy Busy. It's been a little bit, Ryan, since you've been on here. I'm glad to see you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, excited to have you here. Today, we wanted to kind of dive into some of the basics of Busy Busy, just kind of get back and showing everybody that's not familiar with Busy Busy what it's all about and some of the basic components of it. So, Ryan, you mind just telling folks out there that are not familiar with Busy Busy what it is and what it's all about?
Absolutely. So we are a mobile time tracking software built for the construction industry, landscape industry. We like to say if you have employees that don't sit at a desk, uh, we're the time tracking and job costing software for you. And a little background even on Busy Busy. And if you haven't listened to the podcasts that Scott and Isaac, our CEO and founder, have done. Go give those a listen. But we come from the industry. Our founder, CEO Isaac, worked in a landscape company, then worked at his brothers or with his brothers at their excavation company. Couldn't find a time solution to move data from the field to the office, so decided to build it himself. And so we've been around for 11 years or so. Work with 50,000 contractors, landscapers, and so yeah, that's a quick overview of Busy Busy, what we do, and our background.
No, it's an amazing app, and I just love the simplicity of it. And one of the questions we see inside the landscape business owners Facebook group a lot is people asking, what time tracking app to use. And this is one that I highly recommend. It is a very simple program. People can clock in three different ways, like through like the kiosk, the
Yeah,
employer or whoever supervisor
yeah,
and stuff.
it's meant to replicate whatever makes sense for your company. So if it's tracking time, having employees all track their own time on their own device, if it's having a supervisor or crew lead track time for himself or herself and the crew, or even like you mentioned that kiosk, so having a central tablet um, at the shop or on site where everyone can just clock in and out on that. Uh, we want to make it as simple as possible and replicate the process that makes sense for you and your company.
So I want to open this up too. If anybody has any questions anywhere along the way, please put it in the comment section. We'll get them up there, and Ryan can help get you answered today. Ryan, you mind just start kind of
Absolutely.
sharing some of your stuff on your screen, and people can take a look at what's available and how you can actually use it. Like I said, guys, it's very simple. That's the nice thing about it. Anybody on the field, you could train anybody to do this, like anybody. So I encourage you to check it out.
Absolutely. That's one thing
There.
that when Isaac went around about building Busy Busy, again, coming from the industry, knew that if he didn't make it simple, his guys wouldn't use it, and as a result, others wouldn't use it as well. So that is one of our main focuses is making it as easy as possible for employees to manage their time and to also make it something that's extremely valuable for the company to capture that job costing um, and what's going on, giving visibility into what's going on the projects. Uh,
Hey, Ryan, I'm sorry to
yeah, go
interrupt.
ahead.
Just before we dive in here, just want to point out if you guys are interested in Busy Busy, use the link that I'll have it below. It's in the comment section. But you guys, if you mention the Million Dollar Landscaper podcast, you'll actually get 3 months for free. So you have nothing to lose. Like, take advantage of this, hop in there
Yep.
and get in there. So, sorry, Ryan, didn't mean to interrupt there. But
No, no worries. And I was just gonna make sure. Can you see my screen? Okay.
yep.
Awesome. So really, really simple here. So what I'm going to show here is what it looks like for a employee to just track their time on their own device. So I'd come in here, I'd hit clock in, and we have a couple of different options here. What's cool is it's going to replicate whatever you do in your business. We have some companies that come in and they are already tracking time to the project, and they may even be already tracking time to a cost code. Uh, or we have some companies that come in and they're just tracking time to a project, and then we can help them graduate into tracking time to a couple of cost codes and getting a little more granular. But wherever your company is at is where we can match you. So for example, here, just capturing this job costing. So I'll say working at the Tyler Avenue job, and then, for example, let's see here. So I'll just, for example, say like I'm doing some grading. I can even grab some equipment, And then I have a couple of questions here, and these are customizable questions that companies can create for employees. So for example, like, am I eligible for per diem? Did I do my daily walkthrough? Yes. Do I have mileage? No. Am I eligible for drive time today? Yes or no. Then, do I have any of the COVID symptoms? Yes or no. Once I've completed that, I can go ahead and submit and go ahead and clock in. So now I'm clocked in. And again, makes it really simple to go on break, switch. I can even leave a description or note. And then one cool thing we also have is we have the ability for companies to capture photos as well. So for example, I can capture like a picture of my computer here, add a note, and it ties right to the project I'm working on. So I can go ahead and hit done. And so as an employee, I don't have to worry about texting in that photo, emailing the photo in, remembering that photo. In fact, there was a company that I had a conversation with a while back that had their employees just snapping photos every time they started the day and every time they ended the day. And with that, they ended up getting a letter from an attorney saying, hey, you guys did this job 12 months ago. We're suing you because the retaining wall you built collapsed. And these guys went in to the busy dashboard, grabbed the photos for that specific project, sent them over and said, hey, here's the work we did. We did everything correctly. Didn't hear from the attorney for a couple of weeks, and then got a message back saying, hey, thanks for sending this over. After reviewing everything you sent over, everything did look correct, so we kept digging. Turns out a neighbor was building a pool. When they were digging the hole for the pool, someone broke a water line, stuffed a rag in it. That leaked over the next 6 months or so. In fact, your retaining wall helped keep everything up, and then eventually it collapsed your retaining wall. So we're now not going over you or going after you guys. So with that one example, that company estimated they saved $10,000 to $25,000 just in legal cost from simply grabbing that
Nice.
photo every day.
Just simple pictures.
Yeah, just in a picture. um,
Nice.
and and then I can also, again, try and make it as simple as possible. So if all you're doing is tracking time to the job, I would just grab the job I'm on and go ahead and switch. And so I just switched. Bottom time kept going. Top time started over. And that's because I switched to the Rivermark job. And again, really, really simple. Want to make it as easy as possible. And then as I come to clock out, we have a couple of sign-off questions that a lot of companies, a lot of landscape companies like, and that is, first one is a liability check. So making sure every employee is healthy as they leave the job site. So just making sure that you're capturing that, because if you do have an injured employee, you want to make sure that you know that, but also making sure from a liability standpoint, you're making sure that you have that answer to that question every day, so you don't have a conflict 6 months down the road when someone says, hey, I was injured, I told the supervisor, and now I'm filing for workers' comp. Because unfortunately, and it's not unfortunate, but it is the way it works, is that you have to have that paperwork as the employer, otherwise you're liable. Next
Just
one
another
here.
add a little piece of protection there for you.
Exactly. Yep. Just and it's a quick answer, and it's a huge liability saver for companies. Uh, then next one here is company break policy. Did I follow that? Yes or no? I can add my lunch break if I need. And then last one, again, liability, making sure, yep, time's accurate. There's not a dispute. I don't have any issues. That's how many hours I worked that day. Go ahead and submit that. And the nice thing with that last question as well of hey, is your time accurate, is it changes the conversation with employees. Whereas typically, if there's a question of time accuracy or did you really spend this time on this project, it's an accusation-based conversation, where this turns it into a fact-based conversation by using the GPS features, as well as this daily sign-off. It's a hey, here's what we see, here's what's going on. Like, let's figure out a resolution rather than me trying to guess and accuse you of things. Uh,
No, that's very nice, and it was very simple. If you guys watched that, like a few minutes, he went through both. He went clocked in, clocked out, really simple, right through the mobile app.
Yeah, and it is. It takes a couple of seconds, makes it really easy to capture. Um, and then the nice thing too is on the dashboard. So from an owner's perspective or admin perspective, it gives me full visibility into the company, so I can see who's clocked in, who's on break, who's clocked out. Are there any injuries, inaccurate times, or break issues? So that daily sign off comes right to my dashboard here. So I have full visibility into, hey, if there are inaccurate times, what's going on here? Do I have an inaccurate time? He forgot to clock in. I can adjust that. Makes that really, really simple to be able to grab that and understand it. Um, and same thing. So like for photos right here, wanted to just show that as well. So again, I can come in here. Here's that photo I just took, and I can filter photos by project. So for example, if I wanted to filter by the Tyler Avenue job, I can see that photo. I can change the view a little bit. I can even click into it, see, hey, where was that photo taken? When was it taken? Who took it? So here
Nice.
I can see that I'm the one that took it. So it gives me all that visibility. Any questions or anything on that, Scott? As I'm burning through this.
No, I really like that. It's really easy. I like the dashboard that's up there. Like you said, as a business owner, you can just easily click on there and make sure your crews are where they need to be. I can say personally, we had to deal with this spring where we had some questionable times on some of our job sites. So having something like this where it shows exactly where they're at on the job site, or if they are at the
Mm-hmm.
job site, is a huge thing. We had this issue probably, I don't know, it's probably been 15, 20 years ago. We literally found out, it was probably about 15 years ago. We found out our guys were going to one of the guys' houses that was near the job site and sitting there playing video games for like a half hour and then going back.
Yeah,
No joke. Like this would have saved us because we would have known, oh, they're not there. So
yeah, and it is like the nice thing is as well is we have a couple of different GPS features, and companies get to decide which ones they want to use. So, and I'll even just show right here in the project. So I can come into each project and I get to pick and manage any of these GPS features. So I can set reminders, so that way as guys drive into the geofence, it pings their phone saying, hey, it looks like you're driving into the Tyler Avenue job. Would you like to clock in? As they leave for the first time, it'll say, hey, looks like you're leaving. Would you like to clock out or switch? As well as that on-site verification that requires they be inside the geofence in order to clock in. So like you just mentioned, eliminates the ability to go to somebody's house or go to lunch for a couple hours. Makes that a whole lot easier.
yeah,
In fact, and I always
I can
question.
say it does that for my.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go. I was say I've had that pop up my phone because I've used this like at our shop just to test it out.
Mhm.
Every time I pull in, it pops up my phone, and I drive about, I don't know, half a block away. It pops up. Hey, do you need to check out or clock out? And it works accurately.
Yeah, I want to, and it's really helpful, especially for employees when they originally start using the app. It just gets that muscle memory going, makes it really easy to get into that habit of, oh, I'm at the job, I need to clock in, or if I'm leaving, I need to switch to the next job or clock out, whatever that action is needed. And I always question if I should share this story, and maybe I've already shared it, so I'll tell it quickly. But uh, right when we first rolled out our GPS feature, and this is now 5 years ago, there was a company that had employees that worked in a different state, and so with that they're like, oh, this is interesting. Like we'll let them work for the week, and we'll just monitor their where they're at, and then when they get back, we'll let them know, hey, there's this new GPS feature that we're going to let you guys know, but thought it'd be an interesting test, and so watched for the weekend, and unfortunately, and in horror, watched that these guys spent 3 of the 5 days just at a strip club instead of on the job site. And so not only was it devastating in that sense, but it was also devastating in that they realized they were overbidding jobs by 50% because their guys were doing the job, and 50% of the time the other 50% was spent not on the job site. um, well, yeah, just not good.
Nice.
um, so the other feature here that a lot of companies really love is this budgeting feature. So as I'm coming in, and especially like if I'm doing new installation, uh, lawn care, I can come in here and I can see, okay, here's my estimated labor hours and labor cost for this project. And I can even click into this and I can view, okay, where are we at? What needs to happen? And what's really nice here too is that I can say, hey, we're 67, almost 70% through our labor hours that we allocated for this job. We're under labor cost a little bit. But what's good news is that, for example, like we could say, hey, we're actually 75% through this job. So we're actually going to come in a little under budget versus like coming to like this job here, the Georgia Avenue job. I could say, hey, we have an issue. We're over on hours. We're almost over on cost, and we're like 90% done. So what do we need to do to get this wrapped up? Make sure we minimize that cost. And what's nice is I can see that live, where it gives me that access to make changes live or make changes in real time rather than look at it after the fact and say, oh shoot, if only I had known this before, we could have tried to uh, adjust it in order to save the project, make it profitable rather than lose money on it.
Hey, Ryan, on that aspect, can you set up for like the supervisors or whoever you delegate to see this? Like only certain people can see it, or just admins, or what?
Yeah, and it is. It's all rules based. So as a company, you
Okay.
get to decide who sees, um, whether it be budgets or like, for example, we also have these activity reports. This just shows total time spent on a project, but it's exactly
Okay.
that. So I can come in and I can see, okay, how many hours were spent on this job, who spent them. I'll go ahead and find one with a couple more hours. So here's the handful of people that have worked on this job. But it's all rules based. So I can see exactly, and actually let me just pull up. So on my phone here, I just went into projects, went to, so for example, the Tyler Avenue job, I can come in and view that labor budget right on my phone.
Nice.
And so I can come click into this and view it and get that access to it even just on my phone here, as well as, and I'll quickly jump over here as well as like the report right here even. So same thing, I can view all the different projects, total hours spent on each project. I can drill into these projects, see who's worked on it, who's spending time on it. So it's the same exact thing that I can see on the dashboard. And it's rules based, so I can see or decide who gets to see what, whether I want supervisors to be able to see this. So they also have that actionable data to know where we're at on these jobs.
And that's huge right there. So if like especially if you're bidding out, jobs as for production hours, you can't just go tell your crews that well, I bid this job at $5,000. So they don't know what $5,000 means. You can tell them
Mm-hmm.
I have this job bidded at 80 man hours. So and they can watch it right on here and you can watch that graph and the supervisor can say, hey, we're getting close to being over or we're
Yep.
way under, and let you know. It's a great way for to hold some people accountable.
Yep. Exactly. And especially like with there's definitely hints in the market that I don't know if we're headed for a full blown recession or we're just slowing down, but the conversation we keep running into here, and I assume you're starting to see it as well, that people are looking for this type of information on their business because they're going, hey, it's been we've been overflowed with jobs, we've been super busy, but it looks like we are headed or we're slowing down a little bit where it probably makes sense to get a little more fine tuned because knowing our numbers is what's going to give us that stability to know where we're profitable, where we need to improve, make sure that we can weather any slowdown, whether that's minimal or substantial.
And one thing I will note with that, if you start watching these numbers like this and you start asking your crews, hey, what can we do to make this job run faster? You'll be surprised at how many ideas your crews can come up with. They're the ones out there doing all that work. You'll be amazed just asking that simple question. But you can't ask them if you don't have the proper information and proper data to back it up. And having it like this, like in busy will make it that much easier.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. When and it is, it allows you to have those conversations with your crews, and especially it's nice because you can see who your top crews are. So you can come in here and you can
Mhm.
see, hey, these crews are getting jobs done under budget by 10% where everyone else is coming in on target. So, especially understanding who my A players are, but also seeing, yeah, where again, where am I winning, where am I losing? It gives you a bit of a scoreboard to know where you're at.
The other nice thing too is all the job costing that's built in right into this thing, and it just does it automatically. Once you go through, set it all up. That's just an amazing feature to me.
Yeah, it makes it really easy, and that is like that's the main focus is it's time tracking, but it's capturing that job costing, so you can allocate that, know where you're at, and know where you need to spend more time to make sure that you're maintaining that profitability.
And like Brian said earlier, we did an amazing podcast with the CEO of Busy Busy, Isaac, and we talked about all this data and how he used it in his excavation business. But you can totally relate from it and put it towards your landscape business, whether you do mowing, hardscaping, landscaping, whatever it is, irrigation. Having all this information just going to make your business run better. And if, like Ryan said, if it appears that we're possibly going to be heading towards a recession at some point, if you can make your crews that much more efficient, more effective, or you can lower your prices because your cruiser is getting done, that's going to help you get more work and get more money in your pocket. So I encourage you to check some app like this out. The Busy Busy is such a cost effective app, and it's going to help you become more productive and hold your teams accountable just by simply clocking in, using the GPS, cost coding, all this stuff. So I encourage you guys to go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. And like Scott mentioned, uh, if it's something that's a good fit, we do have an exclusive deal with Scott where we'll give you 3 months free. And the other cool thing about Busy Busy is that we don't do any contracts, and we also do a 90-day, 100% money back guarantee. So we want to make sure it's a good fit for you and your company, and we're betting on ourselves that it's going to be that for you.
Mhm. Just real quick, do you mind sharing?
Oh,
Do you have to have certain um, you pay per person that's using this app? How that's all kind of laid out?
yeah. So pricing is really simple with Busy Busy. So it's $9.99, so it's $10 a month, and that is per user, and that's just billed annually. So, for example, a 10-user company would pay $1,200 up front for the year, and then each month what we do is we pull from that amount, that full amount, each month what they actually use. So we call it metered billing. So what that means is if they have 10 employees use that month, we'll pull $100 from that total amount that they put in. Next month, if they ramp up, because we do know that there are busy seasons, right? So if they ramp up to 12, 14 employees, then that month we'll pull $140 out. If they ramp down because they get slowed down to like 6 employees, then we'll only pull $60 out. So money in that credit account is going to last them 11 months, 14 months, just depends on how many employees they have used throughout the year. Uh, and if they run out a little early, we'll just help them get re-upped sooner. And if they have any leftover credits at the end of the year, those just roll over to the next month or to the next year.
I really like that feature. That's nice, and it's a nice, just fair way to go about the pricing. So I enjoy that. That's great. All right, Ryan,
Yeah,
is there anything else you
agreed.
kind of want to share tonight? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that you're. I was just gonna say I agree, and it's the advantage of us coming from the industry is understanding that in construction your employee base is going to fluctuate. So no reason to make you pay for employees that aren't using the app.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, with that, I don't think I have anything else. I think we did a decent job covering the fundamentals of Busy Busy. And again, if it's something that looks like it makes sense, be happy to chat with you. Hit the link, and yeah, don't forget to mention the $1 Million Landscaper.
Yep. And one thing I will say, if you're still on the fence of getting this app or not, they do have a free version of it.
Yep.
It's a lighter version. Obviously, you can't do all the features to it, but it is free. You can try it out and to see if the time clock feature just works for you. And I'm not sure exactly what else is in the free version, but it's a light version. So just check it out if you're still on the
Yeah.
fence.
Yep. Yeah,
But
and it is. It's quite robust. Like all of your time information stays there. You have the ability to track time. There are even a couple of GPS features. There's a lot there. Where it's a great way to look at it, see if it's a good fit for your company.
Yep. So I encourage you guys go check it out. The link's above. And if you do mention the $1 Million Landscape podcast, you get 3 months for free. All right, Ryan. Well, I appreciate you hopping in here again today. Look forward to having you back on here soon, and we'll be having Isaac on at some point again, and be doing another great podcast episode with him.
Sounds great. Thanks, Scott.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan.
Bye.